still waiting for.
Okay, go live. Okay, we're going live now. You're live. We're live now.
Okay. Okay, so we should go
We're
then?
live. Yeah. Live.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome.
Give me 1
Oh,
second.
okay.
See you.
You sure?
I'm gonna
Good.
send the
It'll
link.
always show anonymous, but like if you
I
share.
Go.
Okay, welcome back to this week's episode of the Day After podcast, where we're gonna go over yesterday's event between Cody Garbrandt and Rob Font. So we're gonna work our way up from the prelims all the way to the main card. So I'm Adil,
I'm a Teeb.
Ali.
and so we're gonna start off with the first fight on the card. So Damir Ismagulov and Rafael Alves. So Ismagulov hadn't fought for I think it was like 2 years or something, but he does have good wins over Thiago Moises and another guy when he made his UFC debut. So he's one of those guys where you read a name, you're like, oh, it looks super Russian, super Eastern European, and you're like, oh, he has a 22-1 record, so he has to be good. And Rafael Alves is the guy who he just known for missing weight at featherweight by like 11 pounds a couple months ago. So
And Thiago Moises probably isn't the best win, especially since he's gonna get knocked out of the rankings right after he loses badly.
he's 15 right now. Yeah. He's 15 right now.
yeah,
He's gonna
but
get knocked off the rankings. We already know that. You know what the
the
Makhachev
actual
train
fight,
does.
yeah, but the actual fight was really good. Like Ismagulov got dropped in the first 10 seconds, but that was as good as it got for Alves. He got taken down, got beaten up standing, all the way around. Like really good performance from Ismagulov. There was one cool moment where like I can't even really explain how he got up, but it looked like some ninja shit.
I think he scrambled and he just got up quick.
No, but it looked so cool. It looked so cool. Like I found the gif of it afterwards, and he looked like he was like spinning all the way around, and he somehow just got up perfectly. And Ismagulov was like, "What just happened?"
Excuse me, guys. Yeah. So that was the first
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like Ismagulov, like he's a good fighter, but he's got to fight more to actually make his way up the rankings and stuff, especially at lightweight.
Well, he's got to get a good win first.
He's got to get a good win. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the guy ranked? Well, he's not in the top 15.
Not ranked. Yeah, not ranked.
Okay. So he won that fight. What do you see when Moses gets booted off the rankings? Do you see the rematch, or there's no rematch in there?
No. I mean, like Moises had fought 3 times, but the last time he lost to Ismagulov, right? So like he just got to get some wins together.
Sure. Yeah.
And we know he's good, but he just got to like keep being active.
Yeah. You think a fight against someone like Drew Dober? Because Drew Dober
Nah,
recently
like
lost
Alex
to-
Hernandez maybe.
Sure. Yeah. That's a
Give
good
him one
fight.
of those, right? Like
Yeah.
just give him on the outside of top 20, top 25.
Yeah.
See how he does. But yeah.
So
Like at the end of the day, he's gonna be one of those guys where he needs to get like a 5-6 win streak to actually crack the top 15, like a Benny Dariush or like a Makhachev or those sorts of names, like a Diego Ferreira as well.
Yeah, he needs to collect like 2-3 names, in my opinion, to get a potential like 9th or 10th or 11th ranked guy, especially like how inactive he's been for the past 2-3 years, right?
Yeah, and then the next fight was flyweight bout between David Dvorak and Juan Camilo Rendero.
Yes, good
He
KO.
got like it was the most interesting thing because like people only saw that he was on like the MMA media only saw that he was on the card from like the little sheets you get in from the weigh-in. Like they never heard of him before, and they just saw his name on it, and it was like, oh, they just made this matchup like 3 hours before. He ended up missing weight, but like if you get the fight on like a few hours notice and you just do the medical super quick, and then it's not really your fault anymore.
Yeah. So did they cut weight or did he made 125?
Nah, he made 128.5, but like
okay.
You can't really blame him, especially when he looked like super undersized in the actual fight too.
Yeah, short notice. Yeah, but again, good KO. Good KO. Yeah, I think I think he's gonna get a good reputation with the with the bosses. Probably gonna get a quick turnaround fight too after this. Probably like July, August. That would be pretty quick for him. Despite the
like if you take these fights on like super short notice, like it doesn't matter if you lose the first fight, you're gonna get another opportunity.
Yeah,
it's just that's how you get your foot in the door.
Yeah, that's how you get
but
your
like
name.
Yeah, he dropped him and he subbed him, and then that was basically it. Wasn't that long of a fight.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And now you got Kulibao versus your favorite fighter, Nurden Becky.
Yeah,
there you go. The guy whose last name doesn't sound Chinese, but he's Chinese.
Taylin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylin.
It was a decent fight for me, even though like I was paying attention, like not like it was decent. I was paying attention here and there to the fight from what I do see though from the fight. Kulibao was okay. He was okay. Both guys were okay, but Nerd and Becky he got rocked a couple of times. Like not like rocked, but I think he got stung. Like 2 or 3
but he
times
also
in the second
got
or third
himself
round.
really tired by like spamming wrestling. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't setting it up and he wasn't getting that far, so he was just really working hard towards every attempt, but he wasn't getting much to show for it.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get a
Kulibao though.
confirmation on how to pronounce his name?
Who? Nerd and
We'll
Becky?
just talk to our production team real quickly, see if they can get our. Yeah, you can look that up. Okay, cool.
Production teams right beside us, guys. High production budget, man. Okay, moving on to Bruno Silva versus Rodriguez. Good fight. Good fight. Both tough guys. Bruno Silva, though, he kind of threw some shots, like just hope and pray. I think at times.
It was a minute long though, so it's like how do you really say it?
Yeah.
he got a tie clinch need and then finished. That was it. And then the only notable thing was like he held up the 75K sign to beg for a bonus.
Oh, it wasn't this
Yeah.
Silva. I thought. Oh, dang! There's two Silvas. The second Silva. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're thinking about Claudio, bro.
Yeah, I was talking about the second Silva, the fight that actually went long.
They
It
were
went
right
to
after each other. It's easy. It's
The,
easy.
the spinning back fist guys. Yeah, Court McGee and Silva. Yeah. Okay, Bruno Silva Rodriguez, quick KO. I think Ali, you missed it, right? You missed that
Yeah, I
one.
didn't
Yeah.
see these next few fights.
Yeah, that was a really good KO. Need him and then just ground pound, right, Adele?
I think he head kicked it, but I don't know.
No, I think-
it happened so quick, and I really.
Yeah, I think he clinched him
yeah.
and then threw a head, knee. He threw a knee in
Yeah,
the clinch and then
knee and-
dropped him. Or
I saw
rattled
the
him.
Yeah.
Silva.
It-
I saw the Bruno
Super
Silva.
quick.
No, wasn't it an overright, like a right hand? Overhand,
Yeah.
right?
So the knee rocked him kinda, and then Silva pushed, and then finished the job right there. It was like a 10, 15,
Yeah,
20
but then
seconds.
for Silva, he started off his UFC career like 0-2.
Mhm.
Then back-to-back knockouts. Now he got one in March, I think it was. So like now he's actually getting momentum, and you don't really need that many wins in the flyweight division to get ranked.
Yes, of course.
So like you could easily see like a top 15 guy next.
Of course. Moving on to Court McGee versus Silva. This is the fight that I was talking about, which I confused myself with earlier. This fight.
Yeah, but like we didn't really watch.
Yeah.
We kind of like half watched this because like, but it was like a quintessential like Court McGee fight. Like
Yeah.
good boxing, good wrestling, and
Yeah.
just stayed on top of him the entire time.
Mhm.
And for Claudio Silva, like when he started off his UFC career like 5-0 or something like that.
Mhm.
Now he lost his last 2 fights. So
Yeah.
interesting to see where he goes from here. And he's also like really old. So
Yeah, he did get desperate at times though for the Court McGee guy. He did get desperate for spinning back fist at times. He's trying to get him with his own stuff, right?
no, I think you're talking about Hamoshin Algio. I also don't know. I wasn't watching that fight perfectly, but like Court McGee, like he was on a bad run, so this kind of keeps his job for the time being. But he does have good wins, so
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We got the main event. We got
no. We got Ali's favorite fight on the card.
Yes, sir. We got the
And
best.
Rothwell.
We got the closest WWE matchup that you could ever see. Big Show versus Mark Henry. There you go. We got Rothville versus Barnett. So Barnett, according to Adil, I asked Adil about who Barnett was and is he a good fighter and all that. Adil told me he's like he there here and there, just getting smashed up here and there.
No, I've never seen him. I've never seen Barnett fight, but like Rothwell, like he had his little run up the rankings.
Yeah.
He almost got a title shot. Super awkward fighter. Like his movement's really weird.
Mhm.
He like shortens up his punches a lot, but like at the end of the day, he's gigantic and he hits hard. So
Yeah, well, yeah. Being a heavyweight, that's. I feel like that's the only thing to his game. But if you put him side by side against Barnett, of course he looks better. But again, if you put him against like a top 10 or top 12 guy, he's gonna look like a
but
bum. Yeah.
Rothwell had his run. Like I think he was only one fight away from getting a title shot somewhere along the line. Like I think if he won against JDS back in
Yes.
the day, he would have gotten a title shot.
Mhm.
But then ever since then, like he just like a step slower. And for a guy that's already like glacially slow,
Yeah, he's on the tail end of his
that's
career
like
too.
Silverman.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
on the
it's
tail
interesting
end.
that he's doing anything in the heavyweight division. But let's talk about Barnett and
Yes,
his amazing
our
technique.
new debutant,
His
man.
beautiful
He got his
technique.
debut. Listen, if that guy dropped 30 pounds, he could do something. But with all that weight he's carrying around, half his gas tank was gone while he was screaming. We made that joke over and over again, right? So half his gas tank was gone. Uh, his technique is there. Leg kicks, punches.
He's very fast.
Yeah, he understands the game, but his cardio doesn't allow him to do anything big with it. I feel like he has solid KO power too, but against Rothwell is a giant itself, right?
He also took that on short notice too. Like Rothwell was supposed to fight Fleetblends, but yeah. But Barnett's gonna get another shot, so let's see how he does.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
he
Next
goes down.
he gets killed by anybody with
Like,
decent wrestling.
Yeah, 100%.
Ben Rothwell's just gonna get fed to the next
Yes.
like
The guy
unranked heavyweight coming
Vendera
off a win.
yeah, the guy Vendera that fought later in the card, he would easily do damage to both those guys, Rothwell and Barnett.
Yeah, no,
'cause
but
the
Ben
skill
Rothwell and
difference.
Vandera could make it could make perfect sense next fight too. Like Vandera's first UFC win, and then Rothwell's like
But what does
these are the sort of guys he's gonna fight like at
Mhm.
this point of his career.
Yeah, but what does Vendera get out of that though? Like he should be fighting
I mean, a
Ace.
second UFC win, and then a win over a like not big name, but like a good veteran, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the sort of win that gets you that next level, like that next tier of dudes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me look into the heavyweight rankings quick. So you got Olenek, you got Pavlovich, you got Aspinall, you got Ivanov, you got Marcin Tibura, you got Dawkins, you got Sakai.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like Ben Rothwell has fought most of those guys. He's won some, he's lost some. So I think him and Vandera will make sense. Like,
Okay.
like if Vandera wins, he gets that chance to get
Mhm.
to like fight one of those guys you just mentioned,
Mhm.
or Rothwell just gets to beat up the next like generation or guys coming up from
No,
contender
yeah.
series or something
Yeah.
like that.
He could play gatekeep for people getting into the rankings, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still fun to watch, right? Like he will take damage, but he'll do fine.
Yeah, for a heavyweight barn burner, like you could throw it in there, but yeah, expecting a competitive fight, no, right?
Yeah, no, but like he's still like fun to watch. It's better than like other heavyweight fights where you just like these staring contests and
Mhm.
like they get so tired after the first round. Like Roswell still has a place, but yeah. Now moving on to the main card.
Yes.
So the first fight was Jack Hermansson and Edmen Shahbazian. So this fight was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
but Hermansson had to pull out due to COVID.
Yeah.
And he was actually genuinely sick too. Like
Mhm.
he like candidly said like coming up into this fight, like in the pre-fight
Mhm.
interviews, that like he was not 100%, but
Mhm.
he thought it's still going to be enough because he thought it was a good matchup against Shahbazian.
Yeah.
And Shahbazian's like super young, really good hype train. Had that main event against Brunson.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
that's the fight that they were setting him up to be like that next sort of guy.
Yeah.
But he's always been that guy where he would have a really good first round. Like he's very skilled, like very good grappler, very good boxing. But yeah, so he just fades throughout the fight, and with Hermansson getting his timing after the first round, like bad first round for him, but like
Mhm.
got the timing back in the second round, really imposed his game plan on him.
Mhm.
Like the only takedowns Hermansson usually gets are from body locks.
Okay.
So like the open shot takedowns that he tried in the first round weren't close at all. So Hermansson got those takedowns,
Yeah.
got some ground control, did some damage. Shahbazian did have that little like he got on top towards the end of the round, like 20
Yeah.
seconds left, and then
Yeah.
did some damage.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was enough to win him that round.
Mhm.
But yeah, Hermansson
It definitely
acted
closed
like
down
he
the gap
locked.
from a 10-8 to 10-9 in my opinion for that round for Joker. I feel like him switching Joker over in the last like 20-30 seconds and then mounting him and then doing the damage for 10 seconds, 12 seconds. I think it was
Yeah.
a 10-8 earlier like we were talking, but then that thing really switched it to a 10-9. I don't think he won that round. It could be a 10-9.
And especially how they were giving the 10-8s like in previous events,
Yeah.
right? Like they gave Michael Chandler a 10-8 for like almost killing him, but then
Yeah.
he had his back taken for like 2 minutes. And
But again, you got to
he
be
was,
like, oh, you taking the back, but what did you do with it? Like taking
what
the
did he
back.
do? Yeah, he wasn't really coasting on any subs.
Yeah.
Like the judge did come out and say like why did he give that 10-8? And, like in the moment, you were like, okay, yeah, this guy almost got finished versus the guy that wasn't in trouble.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody
he
thought
wasn't
that
close to
Oliveira was
getting
going to get
finished.
finished. Yeah.
Yeah, like at that time at least. But yeah, so at the end of the day,
Overall, in this fight,
like,
it's fair to say that Shahbazian didn't fade. He improved, but like you were saying before, like Jack Hermansson just had a better game plan, a
Yes.
stronger ground. He just took
Yeah.
the next 2 rounds easily.
I would like to
That's
say he
the
kind
thing.
of manhandled him on the ground because
The
Shahbazian
third
had
round
no escape.
especially.
Yeah, because Shahbazian had no escape. Great fighter. I liked watching him. When we were watching together, I even said in the first round, like, look at his striking. His striking is so crisp. Everything was so good. But then again, he's so young, and Hermansson's I think like what 33, 34. He got manhandled by that guy.
He's
I don't.
32, Shahbazian's 23. Like they both still got like many years.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I feel like these two losses, though, a Derek Brunson loss, a Hermansson loss, is only gonna make him better for him being 23. Like we know that because we already have a past blueprint. See Max Holloway taking earlier losses and then coming back up and beating everybody and improving all over. Shahbazian has that strong foundation. Like he knows the jiu-jitsu, he knows the wrestling, he knows everything. Just experience that he's gonna get from these fights is just crazy. I would like to see him
And
fight
from the Brunson fight,
yeah.
from the Brunson fight, he was pacing himself a lot better. From the Brunson fight, he was like
Yeah.
loading up right away, and then threw a bunch of combos and ended up getting himself tired.
Yeah.
Like it may not, like it's not bad cardio. It's just he needs to be a little bit smarter with his shot selection sometimes.
100%. He does kind of get over aggressive when he has someone hurt or when he thinks that someone's hurt. Because the first round we saw that Joker was looking like there was no answer for him, and then second round he just came out and boom.
Yeah, he just looked
dominated
like a step behind. Like
Yeah.
like they'd both throw their jab. Hermansson would miss far, and then
Mhm.
Shahbazian would land perfect. And then
Yeah.
he was just picking him apart, and it looked like he could have continued that going on second, third round. But
Mhm.
then Hermansson just changed it up, got to the body locks, got to the takedowns, and imposed
Yeah.
his game plan. And clear 10-8 in the third round as well. Like Shahbazian didn't do anything, and at the end of the fight, right? Like if you let that go for 10 more seconds, Shahbazian's getting finished.
Yeah.
And then there's no doubt.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage, bro. He
Yeah.
took a lot of damage in that third round, especially. You look at Shahbazian, he's fought 2 top 10 guys now, lost to both of them. I would like to see him fight a Holland or maybe a Akhmadov or a Tavares, I think. I think he already fought Tavares.
He already killed Tavares though in the first round, so
yeah, so we could potentially see him against
Akhmadov
Holland.
makes sense. Like those sorts of guys make sense, but yeah, like maybe an unranked guy wouldn't be that bad for him either. Like just a guy coming off a win streak.
Yeah.
Just to because this might be the ceiling on him for right now, and maybe he just needs a step back. But, like we know he's just as skilled as these guys. Like he's being competitive. Like he has his moments, but then at the end of the fight, it does really look bad on like the outlook.
The overall fight, yes. You watch that fight, you don't say, oh, okay, the guy got dominated, but you don't see that. Oh, the guys there's no competitive the skill set right
Yeah,
there.
like the first round, he looked like the guy you'd want him to look like. He would have.
100%.
This would have put him up into like number 7 or number 6 as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this one would have got the hype train back on the trail.
Yeah. Yeah. Ali, what do you say about that?
About
the Joker and the Shahbazian fight.
I mean, you guys covered it. You guys covered it.
Yeah, I see. What do you guys see Hermansson going after this?
So all of middleweight is booked up basically.
Yeah.
Like you got Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland. You got Cannonier and Costa. You got Till and Brunson. You got Vittori and Adesanya, and then you got Whitaker getting the winner of that. So it's all basically perfectly laid out. So Hermansson, he's like, oh, I could probably go with the winner of those guys or whatever, but those fights are happening 3 months from now. So for Hermansson, you really just have to get lucky. Well, not really lucky, but like just hope somebody has to like pulls out or whatever, because all of those fights are happening in a 3-week span. Like August 7th, Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland. So
I think they were trying to do this month or April, like book 2 or 3 weeks, just a middleweight fight night main events. Yeah, Rob Whitaker, Costa, and then the other guys afterwards.
Yeah, Vittori and Holland.
Yeah.
Then Brunson and Holland too, but you just have to hope like one of these guys pulls out, because then Hermansson could 100% it makes sense for him just to slot in. Like he's main evented a couple of times before, like three main events now, and we know he's good. Like we know he's gonna be competitive with these guys. Like if you throw him in there with a Brunson or a Costa, or you throw him in with Uriah Hall, like he's gonna do fine.
Yeah.
And then, like, if he wins one of those, then he's only one fight away from a shot at the belt. So
yeah, one more fight. I mean, he lost to Jarrett and he lost to Vittori. So Jared got a title
There are
eliminator.
two very acceptable losses, though.
100%.
But that being said, I feel like Joker really is that gatekeeper type of fighter, especially in the later years. I feel like he's gonna get stuck mid rankings forever and end up just staying there the rest of his career. To be honest.
Yeah, but he like if somebody does pull out, that's his chance to like
his next
make
fight is gonna prove a
make a run.
lot. Yeah, his next fight should prove a lot, seeing how like he could fare against other top 5 guys. If it's not Vittori, or if it's not, well, Vittori's gonna get dealt with in June. Vittori and Adesanya, so hopefully whoever comes out the champion. And then realistically his only options are who. He already lost to Cannonier. Lost to Vittori, top 5, right? So you got Costa in there, you got Brunson in there, you got Whittaker in there. So
You got Till in there. You got all of those guys. You have like all those guys.
Yeah.
Who are fighting soon. But if somebody does pull out, he can slot in.
He can slot in.
But yeah, so at the end of the day, we know he's a good fighter. Like he's going to be competitive with any of these guys. But this was a really good performance from him.
Yeah.
So like I thought the story of this was just going to be like Shahbazian either knocks him out in the first round, or Hermansson gets the finish like in the second or third just on the ground. But like especially since he had COVID 2 weeks ago, like we don't know how that affects your cardio. We don't know how to affect. Like he came into this saying he wasn't 100%.
His body looked good for that, man.
Like really good work for him.
Yeah, really good work by him.
And he changed the whole fight, like from first and second round. Like
it's a good 3 rounds.
But yeah, moving on to So moving on to the next fight, it was Ricardo Ramos and Bill Algeo. So really two lanky guys in the 45 division. Ricardo Ramos, 25, coming up from bantamweight, and then Bill Algeo, he's fought a couple of times in UFC. Really tall. They're both like really loose with it. Not much defense being played here. A lot of flashy stuff.
Yes.
Really good fight.
Back fist attempts. Trying to
Ramos went to the takedown because they were available, and that's how we won the fight, essentially. But both of them are fun fighters. Like Ramos does have a really high ceiling on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna actually make noise at featherweight though. He still looks like he could make bantamweight, and at the end of the day, he's not gonna have the strength to like defend takedowns. And that's how he lost his previous fight too. Like small featherweight for sure, but big bantamweight.
Yeah.
So, like where he's come into trouble, like in the past, is like gotten out muscled on the ground and just got finished there.
Yeah.
So, like featherweight, don't know, but like he's still just getting like get a couple fights in. He's still really really young. Build on your skill set.
Yeah.
And then like 2-3 years down the line, we're gonna see him probably ranked. And then Bill Algeo, like just a good fun fighter. Like keep your hands up a little bit more, maybe. Like he's got a really good skill set. So
good fight behind the jab and everything. Overall, I feel like this was the most exciting fight in the whole card.
I thought it was
it's a forgettable fight, to be honest. Like they're trading some spinning stuff, but
just how reckless they are for me. Yeah, just how reckless they are. They're throwing different things here and there, just being reckless. Like it was a good fun watch. You're like, oh, anything could happen in this fight, in my opinion. Because apart from that, which we're gonna cover afterwards, so all the fights are pretty one-sided if you guys really think about it.
Yeah, but. Yeah, so speaking about non-one-sided fights,
like Rendero did surprise us with certain moves. He even pulled out a question mark kick. You have Barnett with different moves. Ramos didn't really pull out anything with damage. Sure, it's flashy, but
it's
nothing.
Just wild factor that caught me by surprise. It's the wild factor I would give it. Yeah,
but you have to have that fine balance between that, right? You also have to stay technical.
Of course, you can't be extremely competitive with being that wild. Saying that, Tony Ferguson's whole career is that. But again, it's a good mixture, though.
He does mix it. He just mixes in so many things, like hits you from so many different angles that like he'll do damage. But yeah, so now moving on to the next fight with Norma Dumont and Felicia Spencer. So this is the 145 fight. Like they're closing down the division because there's like 2-3 fighters in there or something like that. Like Felicia Spencer, I don't think she can make 135. So it's interesting to see where she goes from here, especially that she lost.
Yes.
But Amanda Nunes is still champion, but there's literally nobody in that division. Norma Dumont's trying to make 135. Like she moved to Vegas to like pursue that, go to the PI, die down, do whatever she has to do to make 135 because she's a big 135.
Yeah,
like,
she's huge.
That's why she missed weight, right?
She's huge.
So. Yeah, but really forgettable fight to be honest. Like
it was
Norma Dumont picked her apart. Felicia Spencer threw some nice kicks, landed a few, and then her whole game is like either kicks from the outside or get like whenever you're in close, like elbows and then takedowns. But she couldn't get many takedowns, and she couldn't do anything with the takedowns when she did get the control time. So Norma Dumont is somebody who shows promise at 135.
Yes.
So maybe she could get somebody ranked next time around. But yeah, but she does have to make weight. That's the first problem. Like she missed weight the first 2 times and bad. So like by like 3 or 4 pounds. So it's interesting to see what she can do there. But like Felicia Spencer, like I'm not sure what her UFC contract is saying, but like she's a good fighter.
She
We know
can't
she's
make
a good fighter.
135,
Like
right?
I don't think she can make 135. Like
Dude, why don't they get the
I
Invicta
think
girls up? Do they have a 145 division in Invicta?
no, but that's the thing, right? Like the Invicta girls were Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. They were the two 145 champions
Okay.
down there. So like that division just doesn't have that much. Like the talent pool for that is not that deep, and all the girls who are good there are in Bellator. So
Why don't you get
that's
those guys?
probably her
Why
future.
don't you get
And
a
it's not like,
Why don't you get a
but
Kayla
like
Harrison,
Bellator
or
is
why don't you
actually
get?
trying to market those people, right? Like
Yeah.
Chris Cyborg just main evented on Friday, and she looked very good.
Mm.
And she did fight. Like that was two former UFC fighters fighting in there too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just Bellator is actually making the concerted effort to like sign the girls up there and like get them fights. Because the whole thing with Felicia Spencer, she doesn't fight that often, but it's not on her. Like the only fights she can get are the other one fighter in her division.
Mhm.
Like she was booked against Danielle Wolf, who was the pure boxer, 1-0 professionally. She came off Contender Series. She would have easily won that fight. Like just got her on the ground and submitted her right away. So it's like for the 145 division, I guess you could just look at that fight again if they both have fights on their on their contract, just
Mhm.
to like get that out of the way, I guess.
Yeah. I don't
But
understand how the
yeah,
UFC is
so
lacking behind with the 145 division when their competitor, well, not their
they just
competitor
didn't
really.
like they had a champion in Chris Cyborg,
Yeah.
but like the only title fight she had was a Holly Holm, Yana Kunitskaya, who's a 135er who
Mhm.
moved up to 145 on short notice. Now, what Yana Kunitskaya is a top five at 135.
Mhm.
So there's talent there, but like you really just back a few years ago, all you had to do was like, oh, hey, I'll move up to 145. You just had to put your hand
And
up.
challenge for a
That was
title.
it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and that was it. That's how you got to fight against Chris Cyborg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, Chris Cyborg's in a better place now, contractually and like organizationally wise. Like, she's getting the push behind her.
That she always needed. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like at the end of the day, this fight was largely forgettable.
Yes.
Good. It had its moments.
Nothing behind
But
it. Yeah.
moving on to our favorite fight on the card, where Jared
Yes.
Vandera, coming off the Contender Series, he came
Yes.
off a loss against Sergey Spivak, and Justin Tafa came off of a loss against Carlos Felipe, I believe it was.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is those random unranked heavyweight fights you just throw on the main card where you're
Yeah.
hoping for like a really good slugfest, like a
Yes.
knockout early, or like it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes
Yeah.
they just get tired right away.
Mhm. I,
So in this instance, it really hyped us up.
Yeah, I was impressed. Okay, so we were talking about the random heavyweight fighters being thrown in main event cards or whatever, and then these guys show up. I was impressed by how Vandera was skilled, like his leg kick game, everything. For a heavyweight to be moving like that, he was moving great compared to Tafa, who was just like, fixed on his feet and then kind of trying to land like, wild haymakers here and there, overhand rights, not really using the jab a lot, a lot. He was using jab here and there, but I don't think he was getting good openings against Vandera.
Mhm. He looked like a step behind on the footwork
Yeah, yeah,
and the feints.
Yeah, and I think it was great to see that Vandera even talked about how he needs to work on his wrestling because that's like the one part. Like
yes,
he said, he doesn't want to take as much damage. He wants
yes.
to switch it up. So maybe he could do something in the heavyweight division. So he might have a chance at
Yeah,
breaking.
Yeah, and the lack of wrestling cost him in that first UFC fight as well. So
yeah, an exciting,
that'd be the way to go.
yeah, an exciting guy coming up. Obviously, he's not young. Exciting guy coming up. I would potentially see him against another, like you mentioned earlier, like a Rothwell. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was fighting Alexei Olenek, 15 ranked or 14 ranked guy too. Why not? That performance is great.
Yeah.
People. Yeah, I rewatched the thing again. The cut was bad, but I rewatched the second round. Tafa did land here and there, but overall, like the overall picture minus the cut, take everything out. I think the cut was given to headbutt as well. So
No,
minus
it was a left hand.
Left
It was a
hook.
left hand.
it was a left hook. Okay. So minus just that instance, overall round, uh, he was doing pretty good. Like Rendero was in control the whole round, because we saw him getting sting for a couple seconds. Like, but I don't think the rest really saw that. Like he got
Yeah,
stung for
like
2-3
he looked.
seconds, and then he's
Yeah,
back
no,
on.
like I was saying, like maybe Vandera gets a 10-8 there, but then Ali made up the point where it was like, yeah, you can't get a 10-8 if you got rocked at the end of the round like he did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so overall, like that fight was pretty good, man. It was a good watch by how surprising Vendera looked. Like he looked actually really skilled compared to like all the coming up guys that we always see in the UFC. Either they're just chubby or fat, just moving along with a lot of fat and just trying to like punch their way to the win. But this guy was actually skilled, so I'm actually pretty excited to see him. Similar to the guys that we saw in the previous card, the flyweights that were fighting in bantamweights, those guys impressed me too. Those two guys.
Bontarine and
Yeah,
Shell.
those two guys. Like I don't see.
You know, but those are like top 10 ranked. You should expect like a good fight out of those guys. But
Yeah, but they were so
yeah,
random because
and
there's too many fight
For
cancellations
Justin
too.
Tafa, now he's like 4-3 overall.
Yeah.
Like UFC contracts are normally 4 fights long, so I don't expect him to get re-signed considering he went 1-3 in the promotion. He
Yeah.
did get robbed in his last fight with Felipe.
Yeah.
But like he only got that contract because they were looking for young Australian talent to put on that Whitaker and Adesanya card back then.
Yes.
And then he got knocked out first round and when he walked onto a right hook. So
Yeah.
I'm like he's the sort of guy where I think he needs some time out of the promotion, get a
Yeah.
few fights in, get your confidence back,
Build yourself up. Yes.
and then figure it out from there. Because he's got a good skill set, but he just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, he landed on his punch. Well, he was sitting on his punches too at times, and I was thinking at times like, okay, he's landing significant shots, but then when actually the stats pulled up, he really wasn't. He landed decent shots, but his shot selections were kind of questionable at times. Because in my
Yeah.
opinion, when he was trading in the pockets, I think he was getting too greedy. He just wanted to get a knockout or something. But
Yeah,
the
but he was
Venera
also
guy was
like
there.
he couldn't find his range either, and then Vandera's body kicks were adding up as well.
Yeah, solid game planning though.
But yeah, now moving on to the ranked contenders, the
Well,
ones the fights that like matter towards like
number
title
3,
shots.
number 4.
So number 3 and number 4, this
Funny.
is an unofficial title eliminator
Yes.
between Yan Xiaonan, who's coming in undefeated in the UFC. I think she was 7-0. Against Carla Esparza, former UFC champion, on a 4-fight win streak. Not the most impressive 4-fight win streak. Like there's a lot of super close decisions.
Yes.
So this was a fight where you really had to put a stamp on the performance to get a title shot.
She did
Because they're still trying to throw Zhang Weili in an immediate rematch, but
Yes.
we'll talk about that later. But
And speaking of that,
yeah,
like even if she won this on a unanimous decision or a lackluster split, wouldn't you think a 5-fight win streak and then Rose trying to avenge her loss matter?
That
I feel
justifies
like
that.
she's
Yes.
gonna get it. She's gonna get it either way.
justifies it as well.
A win regardless,
But,
the way would justify her getting a title shot in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, but like talk about how she won a 10-8 round first round, and then she
Yeah.
destroyed her in the crucifix the second round. So Jan, like okay, you got to believe that her whole training camp was revolved around defending the takedown and then getting up.
Yeah.
The first 10, 20 seconds, she got taken down on like perfectly timed takedown when she overextended in the stand up, and then she couldn't get up, and then Esparza did damage. Like open up a really bad cut, and it did not look good for Xiaonan. The
Yeah.
second round, she gets the second opportunity on the feet. Single leg right away, gets dropped. She
Yeah.
didn't defend the first thing in that.
Uh-huh.
So
Just
Yeah.
one
And
side
then-
domination.
Esparza from half guard to side control to crucifix dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so honestly,
Great
I remember
transitions,
watching Jan's past like 4 fights, and her fights weren't that impressive in terms of like who she fought and how she did it.
hmm
The top 5,
Yeah,
she's
Yeah,
gonna have
but she has
trouble
some good
doing.
wins, like Angela Hill and I think her last one was Claudia Gadelia, who's always really good, but then she always fades. So Xiaonan's always that fighter. Huh?
Angela Hill has taken L's from a lot of people. a lot of fights.
but, like this is when like it was her proper like 5 fights in like a couple months or something like that. So she had some hype behind her back then. But yeah, like
So
Shannon's always that fighter who's like she builds as the fight's going on, and her strikes really add up. Like she's really long for that division. Got really nice jab, got really nice like straight punches, but like that wrestling deficiency against, but like that is coming up against one of the best wrestlers, probably the best wrestler now that Tatiana Suarez moved up to 25,
yeah,
and Carla Esparza. So yeah, like it's a hole, sure, but I think it looks a lot worse. But like considering the competition, I mean, like Shannon's gonna have to like now drop back, fight somebody at like 5 to top 10 range,
yeah.
coming off a loss as well,
Who's Mackenzie
because
Dern
like
fighting?
she did not look like she was in this fight at all.
Yeah, nothing. She didn't do. She couldn't do anything. She went for the strike, and then she opened up the whole hips and everything. She's like, "Oh, come here, take me down," and then she got taken down and got dominated. Right? Who's Mackenzie Dern fighting?
She is gonna fight Marina Rodriguez. That's what they're targeting,
Yes.
but there's no like date for that. So I think that just makes the division clear. Where like
Yeah.
give Esparza Rose 2,
Yeah.
and then do Wei Li Zhang and Ioane and Jacek rematch because like that fight
We
was
all want to see
insane.
that. We all want to see that. That is the best fight to make
Yeah,
in the division. Yeah.
and then for us, like, or well, for me at least, Wei Li rematch makes no
No
sense.
sense. It makes no
Like
sense.
I get she was coming in with like a 21 fight win streak or whatever, but in
Yeah.
the UFC she was only 5-0.
Yeah.
Granted, her super impressive performances against Andrade and
Joanna was
Joanna.
questionable.
So
Joanna was questionable.
no, but a very good performance. Like she dug
Good
in deep.
performance. Yes.
She
Yes.
showed her skills.
Yes.
But if you get knocked out in a minute, right? Like the fight was just starting. You just got knocked out. There was no
Yeah.
controversy about the stoppage. There was no like
Clear
Rose
KO.
won that fight perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So this is where like you got to get 1 or 2 wins back, and then you get another shot at it. So and then in the interim, get Rose and Esparza, get that rematch going,
Done. Yes.
and this is the storyline, right? Like this is the first UFC strawweight title fight
Yep.
from back in 2014.
Yep.
So and from Rose looking super green in that fight to now where she looks like a super finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just get to see her evolution, and then for Esparza, like she was 3-4, like she had 3-4 UFC record before this 4-4 UFC record before her 5-fight win streak right now. Like she has come back from like really bad defeats. Like Tatiana Suarez beat her down so bad in the wrestling that it really looked like where does Esparza go on from here? So to see a person like Esparza come back all the way to a title shot, it's just really inspiring.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
So in terms of the title picture, we have, like you said, Marina Rodriguez and
Mackenzie Dern to clear up the 5th and 6th spot. Yeah.
Would you say that's the next title shot?
No.
Because
Wei Li Joanna.
I think if Wei Li wins,
if Wei Li gets a win, she gets that title shot. She gets a rematch.
But I think if Joanna wins, she needs another win because Joanna has 2 losses against Rose, and one of those being a first round knockout.
Sure.
So
Yes. And
Wei Li gets an automatic rematch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I think Wei Li just needs 1 win because of how dominant she's been, or like her fighting, whole competitive style against other matchups. Like you can't.
Yeah, she's super exciting to watch.
Yeah, you can't be putting a Wei Li against a Jan or a Carla or a Mackenzie Dern or Marina Rodriguez because I genuinely feel like she's way better than those guys. So make a Joanna Wei Li.
Yeah, but then you still have to earn your strikes, right? Like
I don't disagree with that.
She had only fought 2, like granted champion level contenders.
Yes.
On her way here.
Yeah.
Like her other best one is Tisha Torres.
Yes.
So like she could eat, like I think it still makes sense for her to fight one of those people, but
I think one fight she's away 1 fight and Joanna's away 2 fights. So win the Wei Li one, but she's gonna be demanding a title shot right away.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's gonna be demanding it. Like I think she's just gonna do whatever the UFC says. So, but they're also really deeply invested in the Chinese market. But they're like, I think the last win from a Chinese fighter was Li Jingliang last year. So,
yeah.
What'd you say, Ali?
China's gonna pull out, man.
Ali's gonna take over the China segment now. Ali, take over the China segment.
No, I'm not trying to get targeted, man. This guy wants me to die.
But yeah, so
we cleared up the title picture for that division. So make Wei Li Joanna 2, make Esparza for the next title fight. Esparza for the next title fight against Rose. So Whaley, Joanna 2, we cleared up that Joanna wins, maybe one more fight against the potential winner of Dern or Rodriguez, and then a title shot. And then for Whaley, we said one fight and then get a title shot right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, since how
And then
invested
for
the
Dern and
UFC is in the
Rodriguez,
Chinese
right? Like
market.
those two are really good as well.
Yeah,
Like that's a really interesting matchup, like a pure striker against pure jiu-jitsu.
yeah. I'm
So
excited to see that matchup, to be honest. See how Dern looks against those kind of guys.
they could even do a 5-round main event, like a fight night for that too.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
They would definitely do a 5-round main event for like Whaley and Joanna. Do that, like you can put that in China.
That's not a 3-rounder.
You
That
can
is
put
not
that
a
in Poland
3-rounder.
or something.
Yeah.
No, a 5-rounder.
Yeah,
5-rounder.
100% 5-rounder. That's not a
I
3-rounder
mean,
fight, bro.
Wanderson's getting a 5-rounder, so I mean, Mackenzie Dern can get a 5-rounder. So
Yeah.
Bro, but does she have that pull?
But
though,
Waters
for a
Rodriguez got
5-rounder?
on short notice too. Like that was supposed to be Dillashaw Sandhagen, man. But yeah, okay, yeah. That's a good segue into main event between
Perfect,
Cody
yeah.
Garbrandt and Rothville. Really, like we don't. Cody Garbrandt's career makes no sense. Basically, like he had that perfect 2016 run where he went from unranked to champion, but his resume is like paper thin, right?
100%.
The fight that got him a title shot was Takeda Mizugaki, and then before that was Thomas Almeida, who they were both undefeated in the main event. So, and now that we know Thomas Almeida has been exposed towards that, like he was like number 7 back then, but now he's not going to be ranked like ever. So
I feel
for
like he's
those to
fighting
be
the
your
cream
best
of the
wins
crop
to
right
get your
now.
title shot was crazy.
Yeah.
But like again, the master class against Dominic Cruz has really carried his career the entire way through. Like that one performance has like, oh, Cody Garbrandt's elite, Cody Garbrandt's like amazing, great boxing, great whatever. But then the knockout loss against TJ twice, and then Munoz, where he didn't look good at all. Like he had his moments, knocked down TJ, landed a few shots,
Yeah.
and then Munoz, he wasn't in that fight one bit. Got calf kicked right away, got hurt by a headbutt, and then
Bang.
we know the
Some
Cody
shit, bro.
Garbrandt style of like
Yes, sir.
throwing your brain out the window and
Yes,
like
sir.
just swinging right hands and hoping that you win.
Yeah.
And then the fight last year with Rafael Sansa really showed out his true skill set, right? With leg
Skill
kicks,
set, yes,
opening up
he was being
boxing.
he was being defensive all that in that fight too. Even though he dropped them, he was picking his shots. The shot selection was great.
Yeah.
Leg kicks was there. But again,
Sansa is really hard to look good against, though, right? He's very good defensively, and he doesn't give you that many opportunities. Cody played that fight perfectly, won both the rounds, and got the buzzer beater KO in the end of the second too. So then that one gave him a flyweight title shot against Figueiredo. That didn't really make much sense, but he has to pull out of that due to COVID. And then the whole time he's been out since then, he's been dealing with like long-term effects from COVID, and then this was his first fight back from that. So now going on to the actual fight with Rob Font, where he's coming off like a huge first-round knockout against Marlon Moraes, where this was normally the fight he would lose. Like whenever he got the big opportunity into like a Munoz or a Sansao, he'd lose, and he looked like a level below them. So seeing him win that fight against Marlon, and then now the performance against Cody here, where I like going into it, I was like, if Cody can deal with the jab, then he wins. Font sets everything up from the jab.
Sets it up, finishes it off with the jab. Everything.
And he's very long for that division too, so it's a perfect weapon. 100%. And obviously he's New England Cartel, Calvin Kattar, and those guys. Perfect, like not perfect, like really good boxing for MMA. And he just made Cody look like a step behind everywhere.
Yeah, so we knew exactly what Rob Font was going to do and where he's going to go from now. What happens with Cody? So do you think his performance was due to ring rust? Probably not.
No.
Is it just because he isn't as good as these guys? Is it because
what happened?
See,
that's the thing. Like athletically, he's right up there. Super fast, really good counters. But in this fight, he did open up with his wrestling, and that might have been the thing that got him tired too. But even when he got on top, he didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not saying like wholesale changes or anything, but like,
I think these guys are better than him.
Try 125. He's not a big 135 at all.
No, he's small 135. Yo,
but yeah, and at 125, I think like a fight against Perez or something like that, like a top 5 guy coming off of a loss, makes perfect sense too. But like I'm not saying his skill set got exposed, but like his resume, like he hasn't beaten that many top level guys
Yes.
outside of a Dominic Cruz and outside of a Rafael Sansao. So it's hard to call him an elite fighter
He's not
at this moment in time. But yeah, so for Rob Font, this is where it gets interesting. This is number 3 against number 4, but that division is a total mess at the top. So you've got Jan and Aljo. They're going to rematch. We don't know when. Aljo is saying November, but then we don't know what can happen, especially with neck injuries. So, and they're not going to make Jan fight in the interim. They're just going to do that rematch. That's just the thing that makes sense.
That just makes sense. Nothing else makes sense for Jan, yeah.
Now you got Corey Sandhagen killing people. He's going to fight TJ in a main event in July, at the end of July. They made that just now. So that is like lined up to fight the winner.
Yes.
So like the bantamweight title picture, you are not going to have a new contender outside of those 4 guys that I just mentioned until like a June, July, like next year. So for Rob Font, this is a good win against a really good guy with like a huge fan base. That's where it comes into. Like that's where that picture comes into, where like getting a win over Cody doesn't really make sense for you for like a rankings perspective, but for the fan support was really nice for him too. So for Rob Font, it's just where the heck do you go from here?
It's just waiting game for him, in my opinion. I
It's
think the
but then for a wait,
old.
you can't wait a year in this division though, because then
why not?
You're always gonna have some guy coming up. I think
yes,
like whoever emerges like from it, like Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz, whoever wins that could fight a Rob Font in a title eliminator.
But why Jose Aldo though? Why we have to insert Jose Aldo into everything, into like a
he's number 5.
He's number 5. Okay, let's see his past performances. Okay, so let's clear up the position. Look at the bantamweight rankings, right? We're looking at the rankings now. You look at Jose Aldo.
Yeah, but like I just went over it, right? So you got Jan and Aljo, champion and number 1. They're gonna rematch, but they're rematching far down the line.
Yeah.
You've got number 2 Corey Sandhagen against TJ Dillashaw coming back. Yeah. Rob Font just won against Cody, so he's gonna be 3. They might switch around Aldo and Cody, so Aldo might move up to 4.
Yeah.
Especially because he's fighting soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aldo and Munoz is like matchup between top 10 contenders. There's no way that's going to be a boring fight. So I think that sets up for a fight against Rob Font.
Jose Aldo,
and then whoever wins that is like an undisputed title shot. Like there's no way you're getting screwed.
Timing makes sense.
Does it? Jose Aldo, 3-fight losing streak. 2 of those losses were bantamweight. 1 was arguable, right? Fights whatever's left. Fights who? Forget. Fights Marlon Vera, number 15th ranked guy. Okay.
Yeah, but Marlon Vera was also coming off of a huge win against Sean O'Malley, and
that was an okay win. It wasn't justified.
No, for Cheeto Vera as well. Like he's that sort of fighter where he can show up on any given day. Like he's a very good fighter and very good action fighter. Aldo just showed his skill set was a level above in that fight, and then
but again,
like put in a better performance at the end of the day. No, but it's not about your rankings at that point. We know Cheeto Vera is a good fighter. He has fought the top of that division before, and he's been very, very competitive with them.
You got Frankie Edgar, you got Pedro Munoz, you got Dominic Cruz, you got Mirab, you got Sansao,
Aldo and Munoz are gonna fight. Jimmy Rivera is coming off a loss though, so like, and Frankie Edgar coming off that flying knee knockout too. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess in Aldo, Frankie Edgar and Dominic Cruz fight makes sense, especially for the OGs.
Cruz Aldo.
But,
why not Cruz
Aldo?
Yeah,
so
why not make Cruz Aldo?
But Aldo is fighting Munoz, you dummy.
After that fight, I don't think Aldo deserves.
Why after that fight? If Aldo wins that, then he's got a 2-fight win streak against 2 really good guys.
But he doesn't deserve a top 5 guy, in my opinion. After that, I don't think he deserves that. Especially how he got shut down in the title fight. I don't think he deserves a top 5 guy right away. Let him get 2-3 fights in.
Yeah, but in a title fight, right? Jan was the top of the top. Like you can't just say Aldo sucks because he lost to the champion.
If you're Rob Font though, why would you risk your 3rd ranking? Why would you risk?
Who else are you gonna fight?
Rob has to fight someone. Timing-wise, it doesn't work. He has to fight someone.
It's May. Aljo, Jan, okay, they fight whenever. Okay, Corey and TJ, they fight July. Rob Font could potentially fight the loser of those 2 guys. That does him better than fighting out Jose Aldo. Why not fight a former champion in TJ if you lose?
I
Or
think
why
they
not
like
fight
to
a
do
former
winner
guy
against
in
winner,
Corey?
though. They like to do winner against winner. So I
It
think
depends on the
the
how the fight
Sandhagen
goes
and
too.
TJ loser just fights like whoever comes up between then.
They could fight Aldo, Corey, loser of Corey and TJ. They could potentially fight Aldo, but given Font to Aldo, I don't think that's good for Font.
If Aldo wins against Munoz, which is an insanely tough fight for both of them, right? Like there's
Wait.
no
If Font beats anyone, he just gets the next shot. I don't
yeah,
think there's any
100%.
wrong fight for Font. So like, I'm
No,
confused here.
why would he get a title shot beating a sixth or seventh guy? Well, Aldo's fifth.
Because
He's gonna be
he's
fourth.
third ranked, next in line, and he takes another W against a former champ. That's title shot right
But
there.
why would you risk it against an Aldo?
I'm confused. Whoa, what?
Why would you risk it against an Aldo when you could just wait and you know this? Jan
He gets
Aljo
paid.
gonna
He
fight.
wants to get paid.
He
That's a
could,
year without
yeah.
pay.
You
Well-
can't just go a year without fighting and say, "Oh, I want a title shot."
Depends, yeah. It depends how Aldo looks, though. It depends on how Aldo looks, so you can't just be giving Aldo
No,
fights. in top
no,
five.
that's what we're saying. No, like Munoz and Aldo are fighting. Let's see what happens at the end of that fight. Somebody emerges like really good finish. Then they get rough on.
Let's see how the performances are. Let's see if that makes sense for those guys. Because Roth he's fighting now. He won. Now wait till July to see how the next contender looks. TJ and Corey, right?
Yeah, but if
Let's say-
Sandhagen wins that 100% title shot, and if
That's
TJ
title
wins
shot
that
for him.
100% title shot,
Yeah, that's title shot for him. Yeah, if whoever, in my opinion, I think loser of that fight could actually like guarantee a better title shot opportunity for Font because he's fighting ahead
Yeah.
of him. He's fighting ahead of him. That's my whole point. Fighting ahead of him. So
That-
TJ and
I
Corey
see that.
are ahead of him.
Yeah, I see that point. But like, who knows what's gonna happen in between then too? So
yeah, anything could happen. Anything
and
could
if
happen.
one of them pulls out too, Rothville could easily just slide in there.
Easily, 100%. Corey TJ fight is a title eliminator for now in that division.
100%.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we recap this whole.
My take on I gotta give my take on Cody though. I think I didn't give my take on Cody. Great fighter for when he was coming up. Like you said, paper thin resume. I think he's getting exposed as a fighter now. Not his skill set. Getting exposed in how different type of fighters come up in that time, 4 or 5 years since he was a champion, and how they're just better. Those guys are better than him. He had no like he had
But I think he beats a lot of dudes in the division still. Like you
We
can't
could-
just say
you
like,
could say
oh,
that.
one loss
you
guy
could
kills
s-
him.
no,
But
no, we're not saying kills
okay,
him.
but the
We're
yeah.
not saying kills him. Just like skill to skill.
he's a top
those
10
guys are better,
contender
yeah.
for sure, but he's not top 5
He's not beating any champions. He's not beating any top 5 guys, in my opinion.
at this moment.
Yes.
I think 125 makes sense at this time.
Yes, perfect sense.
But
if he
yeah,
wants
I
to
think
stick
he's just
around,
also got to fight more, right?
Yeah.
He's been dealing with so many injuries and like sicknesses and all this.
Yeah.
So like we don't know if this is like a one-off bad performance as well.
Yeah.
Like at least he didn't get knocked out this time as he does in previous fights,
Yeah, the no chin narrative's gone.
which kind of sucks that you say that as a positive.
Yeah, that is, bro. That's the
But,
biggest positive I've seen from that fight. That's the biggest positive I've seen from. He did have.
He still
some
had his
success.
moments. Like he landed
Yeah.
a few left hooks.
Yeah.
He showed the wrestling, but in a day he got 50-45, and
Yes.
you can't say much about it. So,
Yes.
next week I don't think there's an event, but the week after is
Vittori.
Rosenstrike and Sakai.
Oh, that's before that.
That card is arguably one of the worst on paper we've seen since the Jessica I and Cynthia Calvillo main event and Vittori and Robertson co-main. So yeah, we're kind of just waiting for Davison Figueiredo Moreno card. So
Yes. That card's gonna be really good, man. I just have a feeling Figgy's gonna get a dead body on his resume. I have a
A
feeling.
Joey B, another Joey B,
It'll like Joey.
yeah.
and then we see Nate Diaz die. That's good.
Yeah,
Good
we already know that sacrifice, man. We already know Edward's gonna win that fight, gain some fans, and then potentially get the next title shot. From what it's looking
He
like,
should get the next title shot if he beats.
yes. From what it's looking like, from what it's looking like, I know I've said this so many times that Colby, they're gonna make Colby Kamaru, but I generally think that Kamaru is waiting to see how that fight goes, and then he's gonna make Edwards the next title.
I mean, I think he
touch.
said it in an interview that he was gonna wait and see how good Leon looks.
Yeah, because I think
he jokingly said if Nate Diaz wins, then for sure he's taking that.
Bro, he didn't joke about that, bro. He will give Nate Diaz a title shot.
100%.
He will give Nate Diaz a title shot just to get an easy dub on him, bro.
Sure.
Yeah, because he's a problem. He's a problem.
He's a problem, man.
taking more from who?
He's taking Frampton Diaz.
Yes. 170s, get ready. He's a problem.
I'm a problem.
He's a problem.
Yeah, but
All right, so we can wrap up there.
do you guys want to do a prediction for like Sakai and Rosenstriker?
No, I
Nukes,
don't
nukes.
know.
That's all we're saying. Nukes.
Someone dies first.
Someone dies. People gonna get hurt. Someone might die.
Yeah, but I just don't understand how they got a random main event when they're both coming off of losses in main events where they did not look good.
I mean, they probably had no other option. They're just like, yo, throw these heavyweights in there.
Maybe timing wise, it just made sense.
But like,
Yeah.
but you could even throw like a fight from the pay-per-view, just make that a 5-rounder. Like you could have, like, okay, I would have taken a Damian Maya and Bilal Muhammad 5-rounder over Rosenstrike and Sakai. You can say Maya's retirement fight, and then you can say Bilal main event Muhammad off of the iPhone. So like,
he's a unanimous decision fighter, and Maya's old, so like,
Yeah.
in heavyweight, you're gonna see a nuke, right?
Yeah, I agree with Ali. I think that's what they
yeah,
thought.
but why would we have to watch 5 rounds of that nonsense?
Bro, it's interesting, exciting. Anything can happen between the heavyweights, man.
Rosenstrike landed like 5 strikes a round, and they're in his last 5-rounder.
It's fine. He's
Maybe
coming off
he
of
just
2
put
L's.
there.
He's coming off of 2 L's, and maybe they're just like, okay, we're giving you another shot.
And
Do something.
Sakai's now in his second main event. I still think nobody knows him. I'm gonna check his Instagram followers.
Talk about Instagram followers, man. We covered it last episode too. Charles Oliveira, 850K. Now he's at what? Let's see. I'm actually excited to see that because every time there's a new champion.
Sakai has 48,000 followers. Like, I'm not sure about that one, man.
Yeah. Charles has 1.1 mil now. Great, man. I love that.
300K in a week. That's solid.
I love that, bro.
The biggest bump I've seen
We're
from
all
that
happy
was
for the
Kamaru
favelas.
Usman going from like 300K to like 1 million by beating Woodley.
Oh yeah, bro. That was a domination, man. That was a straight up domination. People gave his specs to that performance, man. People are like, okay, we'll give you a follow for that his spec. Bro, man. Charles Oliveira though, he did it for the favelas. His spec to the favelas. Got 300K followers for the favelas, man. People know about the favelas now. All right,
And
well,
I just want to see him fight more often, though. Like when he's making
see,
hit, like he's been known as that guy who like fights every 3 or 4 months,
mhm.
and especially at lightweight, there's no shortage of contenders. So
You can tell he sees the money now. He's gonna be fighting often, especially if
100%.
Conor wins. He sees the money. I'm telling you,
Bro,
Charles sees the money.
Bro.
Yeah.
Can we do a countdown to like the Poirier McGregor fight? Literally every single episode, we just talk about 5 minutes about Poirier McGregor. Like I have a feeling.
it's not worth that. But like the thing is,
Yeah.
we've got like Derek Lewis and Ngannou in August now.
Yes.
They're trying to make that,
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah.
but like
You see what Dana's saying about
think-
Jones? He's like, oh, he can retire at the top, or we could see him back at 205. Bro, the amount of weight he put on, he's not going back to 205. He's enjoying the
Impossible.
burgers and tequilas, man. While he's off, he's in his off season.
but this is just the shit he says when they're
Yeah.
asking for more money.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight.
It's
What can
you
do?
can literally
What can you
Google
do?
it, like, oh, Dustin Poirier doesn't want to doesn't want to fight Tony Ferguson
Yeah.
just because he wants more money. Robert Whittaker doesn't want the Adesanya rematch. It's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like,
Dana does that. I still do think that we see Jones and Ngannou after whoever wins the Lewis.
and then he also said Rose Namajunas doesn't want to fight Zhang Weili and almost gave Esparza a title shot just out of spite. Like,
Hold on. Yeah.
I think
and
it's
then,
kind of
and then he has the audacity. He has the audacity to say like, "Oh, Carlos Esparza, we see you," even though we almost gave you a title shot just because we didn't like Rose. Like, and we might give Weili an instant rematch, even
Yeah.
though she got head kicked.
She doesn't deserve an instant rematch. But yeah, boys, Adil, your boy
Yeah.
fought last night. I still don't have enough confidence in my boy to say that he's gonna win like decisively, Connor. But anything could happen.
Oh,
Anything could happen.
Like, aren't we coming up on an hour though? Can you check?
Yes, we're coming up on an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can
So
wrap it
let's
up
just-
here. We can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could spend a little bit of time like a TBU hit pads for his first time.
Yes, sir. I hit pads. I learned new techniques. I learned to pivot. The pivot's the most important thing. The key word from the yesterday's session is pivot. So yeah, learned to pivot. Learned through some body shots with Ali. Felt pretty good. Felt like Felt like the stress relief you get by hitting pads is totally different to like lifting is I love lifting, but lifting weights or doing anything else totally different because you're actually taking all the stress out on the pads. It's so much fun. It's actually so much fun. But again, we did some BJJ. We did some.
I got chinned.
Yeah, we did some. We did some BJJ. We tried different submissions. We tried different positions, full guard, arm bars, and everything. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Like first session, understanding different basics. Highlight of the session: getting a dill to put the hand wraps on. That's the
Yes,
highlight of
very
the session.
Bro, I'm so uncoordinated and I cannot follow any instructions.
Dude, my hands.
So I needed to be babied.
Yeah, my hands after the hand wraps, like my hands feel light. My hands feel light for
Oh
some
yeah.
reason. Yeah.
It's like when you have like leg weights on and like you take them off and you feel like you can fly.
Yeah, my hands feel light. I feel like I can throw like a good what? Quick 1-2 1-2.
Can you hear it? I can't see it, but we can feel it.
Bro. But yeah, man. Good first session. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, but it's just fun to learn because like it makes you appreciate what you see more. Like you
100%.
can look at Garbrandt and Font and you can go like, oh, Garbrandt looked like shit or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like you see what he was trying to do with trying to defend the jab, trying to move his head out, trying to get his hands up, or like trying to get a left hook off of it. Like you
Yeah.
see where those openings are created.
Yeah. Analyzing it and actually doing it, two total different things. And then these fighters, they got to analyze it and then apply those studies. That's totally different. Yes. Major respects to the fighters, man.
Yeah, so next time we're actually gonna run a workout instead of just like
Yeah. Yesterday was just playing around with the gear, learning the hand wraps, and learning every different angles. Yeah, it was fun though. But yeah, we gotta.
I'm not sure what we're gonna do for next week because there's no event, but I guess we could just
just do a session.
like that might be a fun episode just to go through each division too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
we
could do that.
Okay.
We should do that after a big card though. To be honest, we could go after because we already covered the divisions, right? So we could do that after big card, like Adesanya Vittori recap. We can probably like go over the divisions.
Or maybe we could just go like pick like a couple of our favorite fighters and just say why and like what each of our favorite fighters are, just so like
top
they
5,
can start.
top 3 favorite fighters because we already have like
something like that.
Yeah, top 3 favorite fighters makes it good content. Yeah. Well, we can wrap it up here, guys. You guys want to end it on a good note? That Cody, the no chin narrative is not there anymore. Cody's a good fighter.
Yeah.
There's no more no chin. He can fight. We understood that it was just raw emotions that got him to get KO'd, but there's the no chin narrative's dead, and we're gonna end it off here.
And Rob Font's an elite fighter.
Elite fighter. So for someone who just started fighting like not too long ago, elite fighter. He started fighting 4 or 5 years ago, I think. He hasn't been fighting that long.
He's been in the UFC for like 6 years, almost.
Hold up. Let me see. Dang.
That guy's been around. That guy has been around.
I take it back, boys. I just fact checked, and yeah, I just failed my fact check.
The thing is, his whole story, he's only lost to the best. Like John Lineker was a top 5 contender back then. Pedro Munoz, we know how good he is. Rafael Assunção, top 5 contender. Like every time he's hit that level, he's just fallen short. When that first round knockout against Marlon was his breakthrough.
100%. What do you guys say about Marlon?
This was just a fight to get the fans to know that he was good.
What do you guys say about Marlon though? I think he's toasted. I feel like he's toasted.
Yeah, he's about done. His career is about done.
He looks super washed in his last fight. But yeah, like looking back at his past 4 fights, he fought killers, but then again, he himself before those 4 fights was an assassin. Fastest switch kick in the game. Like him and Edson Barboza trained together, so like they've got super sick kicking technique.
Yeah.
But he has not looked good at all. Every time he gets hit, he just gets frozen up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like the moment in time where him versus Henry Cejudo, he was styling on Cejudo.
Yep.
7 or 8 minutes in,
Bang.
Cejudo lands a huge shot, and you could see you could see Marlon's face change, and you could see that the fight had just changed, and you could see the moment when he got broken.
Yeah. Talking about Cejudo.
And he fought super safe against Aldo, won a decision. And then Sandhagen, we know Sandhagen special. And then Font just murked him because he tried to come back too quick.
Yeah.
And looked washed.
All right, well, we can wrap it up there with the bantamweight division
Yep.
picture. Talk about Marlon. We pretty much covered every single like top fighter in the bantamweight division and all the different fights that we could see, and then we're gonna see some because some of them are already booked. Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys have anything
Yep.
else to say
Yeah.
to finish it off?
We're good.
All right, boys. That was our stream for UFC Vegas 27. We'll see you guys next whenever the next card is, June 5th. Sakai versus Rosenstrike. So we'll do a follow up recap stream on that, and then obviously we got the main card, big card coming up, Adesanya Vittori. All right, so we're gonna finish it off. Peace.